answering some of the questions or diving deeper into the conversation around what do we do after 141 years after the Berlin Conference. And then we will dive deeper into this conversation. What we need to understand today is that we are here talking about history, but it's not something that is isolated. We're still living and experiencing all of these issues in our countries, in our communities, locally. Contextually, just 2 days ago, there was a protest in Cape Town. Did the auctioning happen today? Did it went through today? So all of the issues that we're talking about is actually relevant in our context right now, right here. And the question we need to ask ourselves is, what is happening on the African continent, and what can we do to make sure that we organize our people? So it is about being able to understand how do we get to untangle the idea of basically colonialism, and then also being able to understand the formalizing process of the Berlin Conference and how South Africa, the continent, has been separated in essence, and then also understanding the effects of that in the Congo state, and what that means around the brutalities that we've experienced through extractivism, then also understanding how that affects or goes down into Salt River, and then how our colonial logic shaped urban spaces here in Cape Town. So all of these are connected. Most of the time we think that it is separate, but they're all under one dividing rule, under supremacy, under capitalism, under colonialism, and we need to start waking up. So, this conversation. So I'm going to continue. So this conversation is really about, not really about what happened. Yes, we're giving acknowledgement to the things that has happened and taken place on our continent and still is happening, but also understanding how these structures remain in our context and in our societies today, and how we need to understand something like the authoritarian playbook, because these are the rules that our people use to divide and conquer in our communities. So firstly, we're going to go through, we have a framing. So first we're going to discuss Berlin and Congo, what happened there, and then also basically moving into ADWA as one of the only African country that was able to withstand forces from colonialism, capitalism, and supremacy. And why, at the moment, currently, why do we not give honor to that? Why is it not known to many others around there? Then also basically covering Salt River and our present struggle today, and then also just giving the audience some overview of, or some engagement. So around, if we are engaging in questions, I ask that we not give speeches, but we ask questions. This is a platform for us to untangle, like I said, unscrambling what was happening or what is still happening in our continent. So before we go further, I just want to highlight a few important points, especially around the auctioning of the Cape Town 50 public sites that's being open to being claimed by white people, right? It's not foreign to us. And the question we need to ask ourselves is, again, what do we do now? How do we organize differently? How do we get connected to one another in a way that doesn't seek to divide, but seek to build connections and collaborations, intentional collaborations with one another? Because we're living in a space or in a time where our conquerors, they want us to fight one another. So how do we break those? And today's conversation is going to bring us to that. So for round one, again, it's only about 20 minutes. Each section is 20 minutes, and I want our speakers to really speak fully. Be intentional about what you say. Call out structures and spaces when we need to. So I'm going to give all of my speakers about 2